Take a look at this cinematic sequence. Notice the smooth motion, the blurred background, and the crisp details. You might assume capturing footage of this quality requires thousands of dollars in heavy camera gear. The reality is that the smartphone currently sitting in your pocket is fully capable of producing professional-grade video. We are going to walk through exactly how to achieve these results. We'll configure your hidden camera settings, apply a simple 4-part formula, and prepare for a clean edit. Look at this split-screen comparison. On the left, the image is hazy and the light is scattered. On the right, the contrast is sharp. Before you touch a single digital menu, you have to fix the most common mechanical flaw. Your phone's camera lens is likely covered in oils and grease from your hands. Wipe it down completely. A simple smudge instantly ruins your contrast. Starting with a perfectly clean piece of glass is the absolute baseline for capturing a cinematic image. Step 1 is preparing the camera itself. Open your iPhone settings, scroll down to Camera, and turn on the toggles for Grid and Level. The grid overlays 9 squares onto your screen. This helps you apply the rule of thirds, making it mathematically straightforward to balance your subjects against the sky or the ground. Next, we need to adjust the recording format. Set your video resolution to 4K and change your frame rate specifically to 24 frames per second. This timeline comparison illustrates exactly why we do this. Most people leave their phones on 30 frames per second, which is fine for general social media. But 24 frames per second is the global standard for cinema, capturing motion with the specific slight blur you see in Hollywood films. Go into the Preserve Settings menu and lock these choices in so your camera doesn't revert to its defaults the next time you open the app. By locking in 24 frames per second and turning on your compositional guides, you move away from casually pointing the camera and begin deliberately framing your shots. If you shoot a series of disconnected clips from the exact same distance, your video will feel amateur. To build a cohesive visual story, you need to follow a structured shot list based on clothing sizes. This framework starts with the small shot. This is an extreme close-up designed to isolate a specific detail and inject granular life into your scene. Next is the medium size. This mimics a normal human perspective, typically framing a subject from the waist up to provide a comfortable, relatable viewing angle. Then we have the large shot. This is your wide angle. It establishes the geographic location and shows exactly how your subject fits into the surrounding space. Finally, the extra. This is a manipulation of time, such as a steady time-lapse or a moving hyperlapse, used to add dynamic energy to your sequence. Strictly capturing a small, medium, large, and extra shot guarantees that you have all the necessary perspectives required to build a complete narrative in the edit. Now we can leverage the software tools built into the phone. Cinematic mode uses computational processing to digitally replicate the shallow depth of field found in professional camera lenses. This playback interface shows the real advantage of cinematic mode. By tapping the F icon after recording, you can drag the slider left or right to manually adjust the exact intensity of that background blur. For dynamic scenarios where you are moving quickly and don't have a mechanical gimbal, you can toggle on action mode for aggressive digital stabilization. As this animation demonstrates, there is a technical trade-off. To absorb physical shaking, the software computationally crops the edges of your image. You sacrifice some of your wide field of view to gain perfectly smooth motion. While filming, you also need to manage your audio environment. The phone's microphone is extremely sensitive to proximity noises, particularly the sound of your own heavy breathing while holding the device. Utilizing these tools, artificial blur, digital stabilization, and audio awareness, removes the technical distractions that often mark a handheld recording as amateur. Once you have captured your 4 purposeful clothing-size clips, import them into a dedicated editing platform like CapCut for creative assembly. The fastest way to ruin a professional video project is by leaving a default app watermark at the very end of your sequence. Navigate into your CapCut app settings immediately and permanently disable the Add Default Ending toggle. A professional edit requires absolute control over the final frame. Removing automated branding ensures your visual presentation remains clean. This is what the polished result looks like. The 24-frame motion blur, the 4-shot narrative structure, and the computational depth of field work together to create a seamless sequence. You have transitioned from pointing and shooting a standard device to deliberately composing a cinematic story. Your next step is to test this methodology. Pick a simple, everyday activity and film it entirely using the small, medium, large, and extra framework. Cinematic quality is a result of applied methodology and disciplined execution. Configure your settings, clean your lens, and start filming.